All right, hey everyone. Oh wait, can you guys hear me? Hold on, let me turn my microphone on. Can you guys hear me? Check this out. Check out my background. Look at this. I'm not in I'm not in Jersey right now. Okay, in Jersey there's like a foot of snow. I escaped. Okay, can you guys let me know if you guys can hear me? Because I don't know if you guys can. Let me see. Am I getting sound? Oh yeah, I see the sound going off. All right, cool. See that? I'm even using a wireless mic. See that? High tech over here. Check out this background. See, this is my vacation house. Because I'm a fake guru like that. How cool is this? It's a real background. This is real. Look, this. I'm sorry. This is real. This isn't like a Zoom background. See that? I can like touch stuff. That's real. There's a pool out there too. Outside that window, you can't see it, but there's a pool out there. That's what I'm talking about. I'm in Florida, by the way. I'm in Fort Lauderdale. You guys. But no, there you go. I'm not in Romania. Romania. Yeah, Alex checked in. By the way, he was one of the first guys. Romania. I still have to say that. You guys, there's other people here, and I warned them. I said I'm going to be saying Romania. Just letting you people know. They're like, all right, don't worry about it. So anyway, hey Benjamin, how are you? Good to see you guys. Yes, Mr. Powers. That's right, Mr. Powers. But the only guy that knows that joke. No, Benjamin. No. You know why? I was on my way here. And man, let me tell you, it sucked. Trying to get here, I barely escaped that snow. Okay. And it was very hard to get here. And the problem was I had nowhere to write the article. I had no privacy. I was like in this hotel. Because it's a long story, but can you see that bear that just walked by? Look, guys, check this out. You see that bear? Look at that thing. That's not a bear. That's a dog. Look, I'm streaming right now. You want to say hello to everyone? Want to say hello? Say hello. Say hello. Not to me, to them. To them. You see that thing? I guess you got excited because I was yelling. Anyway, so so I couldn't write the article because I was on my way here and I had no privacy. When I had time, I had no privacy. And when I write that thing, I need privacy. So I couldn't write it. That's why. So sorry about that, Benjamin. I know you were looking for the article, and I appreciate that you were looking for the article. But I'll be back. Actually, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here till Tuesday. So my next stream, I will probably be here as well. I'll just change the location. I'll put up another background. I'll go to another part of the house here. I, does it look like that? No, I don't think I'm their type. I don't think they would. Yeah, I probably don't make enough money for that. But yeah, and not enough plastics. I don't have enough plastic surgery either. I'd probably have to get my teeth fixed and stuff, at least. But anyway, no. But this is a nice house, right? It's my vacation house. I told you. I'm a fake guru now. Oh, where's Booty Cheeks? There he is. All I was gonna say, all I need is the car and the girl. That's I'm working on that still. I don't have the car and the girl yet. But that'd be perfect. I could park the car in here and the girl, because I'm in the house. I got the house. Okay, what does he say here? Hold on. Almost Booty Cheeks. And I'm in your neighborhood. I'm in your neighborhood because I'm in South Florida. I don't know. I suspect you're in North Florida, but I'm in South Florida and I'm enjoying this beautiful weather here. It's like summertime over here, and I just got away from like Siberia, New Jersey. Place sucks, man. 12 inches of snow. So I'm in this beautiful house, the pool outside, the weather, it's like summertime. I'm in shorts, you know. I think I have a little bit of a tan, maybe. I don't know. I'd like to think I have one, but I've only been outside for a short period of time. So anyway, so my schedule is a little off, guys. Um, and so we tested support again at some point. Okay, so let's get into it. I know I'm sitting here talking about my fake guru stuff going on over here. All right, so let's talk about it. By the way, I'm on my remote. I'm not on my regular computer. right? So I usually have big screens and all that, and it's a little more easier for me to maneuver. I'm on a laptop with an extra screen on it. So just like when I was streaming from Spain, I have the same setup here. So it's a little more abbreviated, right? Except for this microphone. How does this mic sound? I guess it sounds pretty good. Okay. Oh, West Central Florida. Went to the beach. Oh, nice. Dolphins. West Central Florida. Where is that? West Central. West Central. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I'm south, man. I'm Fort Lauderdale. I'm gonna go to Miami because I have to go over there. Maybe I'll find a girl over there, booty cheeks. Maybe I'll find one. There's plenty of them over there. But it sounds highly what? What does that mean? Is that good or bad? I don't even know what that word means, man. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Hopefully it sounds good. All right, anyway, let's talk about charts because otherwise I'll just sit here and just talk about the pool outside. So now I'm going to get off this chart because I'm not supposed to really get into this chart here. I'm going to put my mic here. You guys should be able to still hear me okay. Actually, I think, can I wear this thing? It's supposed to be able to wear this thing. Hold on. Let me see if I can put it on over here. Yeah, I should be able to wear it like that. Okay. Yeah. So if the sound, hold on. Okay. All right. I know it looks weird, but whatever, man. You're not here for my pretty face anyway. So let's go into, so let's begin now. So what was that, Benjamin? You had a question there. There's a word invented by, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm more of a South Park kind of guy. So I'm not I'm not as familiar with that show, so I apologize. Okay, but I knew you were a Florida guy. I knew it. All right, so let me go back. Benjamin, you had a question. Yeah, we tested support. Okay, so that's a Bitcoin question. All right, so first let's do this. Let's go through the NASDAQ. I haven't checked the news this week. What week is this? So this is the fourth week. There's probably no news. There's probably nothing really major on the news front. I haven't checked. But if there's something, guys, mention it in the chat. But I don't think there is. Let me just see here. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm just thinking, okay, so let's go to the NASDAQ first. Okay, can I type this in over here? I got to make sure I'm on the right screen. All right, there we go. By the way, if you see that QR code on my screen, that's for my, we'll go to the Qs. That's for my Telegram channel. I had that Ethereum trade, but that trade was kind of bad. All those updates are in the Telegram channel. All right, so anyway, that's what that QR code is. And that URL that you see at the top of the screen, that's the URL that the QR code takes you to. Just another government. Oh, great. All right, we could use one of those. The market doesn't seem to mind. So these are the Qs, right, on the daily time frame here. Oh, no, that's 15-minute. Hold on, let's go to the daily time frame. All right. And let's just make this chart a little easier on the eye. So, I mean, look, not much has changed here, right, on the daily time frame. When we look at this, the consolidation is the same, and we have higher lows. Look at this, higher low, right? Higher low over here. We're likely to make that higher high. I still suspect we're going that route. I mean, what is this thing up today? 4.93. I mean, the futures were up 185 points, something like that, and they just sat up there all day. Come on, man, with that nonsense. So this thing is poised to go higher. That's what the structure says. I mean, you guys see gold and silver, right? We're going to talk about gold. So we're going to have to take a look at the bonds, but clearly this looks like an inflationary situation, but the bonds don't agree. There's some conflict here. This right now, I mean, I wouldn't know what to tell you as far as taking new longs. Stocks that are, NASDAQ heavy stocks, right? I can't say the word, Magnificent Seven, all that nonsense. I mean, obviously they're poised to go higher because that's what this is a reflection of. So one thing we could be clear on, this is not a short. I would not short this. So if you're going to short this thing, day trades only like this, because this thing's poised to break out. Today's Monday, and this is the kind of close we got here, basically, or we're getting, right? The market closes, what, in 30 minutes? This is what we're looking at. So this thing looks like it's poised to go higher. We have no news this week. And if the government's closing, the market doesn't seem to be bothered by that. Okay? So, I mean, all right. So that's the NASDAQ. Strength. That's all I see. So if you're long stuff, if you're long stocks, there's really nothing to do. Right? Kai, how does that MP look? I'm curious. Let's take a look real quick. I mean, okay, nothing really there. What is that? Minus 6 points. Huh. All right. I guess this is inverse, huh? Inverse NASDAQ. My monitor just moved. Okay, let me just fix that. All right. Let's just real quick on the stocks front. You know, what's like a NASDAQ heavy stock? Netflix, NFLX. Right. I'm just jumping through some NASDAQ heavy stocks here. Well, that doesn't look good. Where's this NASDAQ strength come from? Is it AI? I mean, where's this coming from? Okay. The Federal Reserve is completely irrelevant. Yeah, well, I know. I agree. Powell's going to have to throw in the towel. So where's the strength coming from? What's driving the NASDAQ? Is it Google? Let's see. Is it Google? Okay, it could be. Look at that. Look at that chart. That's kind of ridiculous. Look at this thing. So it's not even all the stocks. It's just the money is so concentrated. Kai, MP sold off because the U.S. government announced on Saturday they bought 10% of USAR competitor. Oh, interesting. Kai, come on, you got to tell us these things. Interesting. All right, so this looks like the NASDAQ, doesn't it? I mean, the chart looks almost identical. Look at this. This is definitely, there's no weakness here. All right, so obviously a leader. I'm just curious, what about Facebook? Do we even have to look at Facebook? How about Amazon? AMZN, right? Okay, that's not as strong. It's up, but the chart is not as strong on the daily time frame, but it's not weak either. So it seems like it's just a few stocks driving it. What else is new with the NASDAQ? So let's move along here, right? S&P has always been showing. Let's take a look at the SPY real quick, because S&P has been showing a somewhat stronger structure. Look at that. They're very similar. Same story, high or low. We're going for the high, right? We're going for this high right here. I mean, these things are poised to go higher. What can I tell you? It looks like inflation to me, right? So let's look at the important markets, like the bond market. So ZN1, because as you guys know, this is the game right here. It's where all the game begins here. Now, this is the bond prices, right? And I mean, they've pulled back a bit, which means yields have gone higher. But what is going on over these recent couple of days? So we have a push higher here, right? I mean, you see come on, man, with these arrows. Do you see that? So we got this push higher. It looks like a lower high developing. Look at this. Old resistance, right? Old support acting as new resistance. Let's see, do we have anything special in there, like an order block? Let's see. Order block. All right. Kai likes that. He loves that. Order blocks. Fair value gaps. Do we have anything? Well, like the order block would actually be up here. That would be the order block. Fair value gap. I'm just looking in here. For those of you that follow that, I mean, like I said, there's some value in that because I guess so many people look at it. This would be the fair value gap right here. Now, it's probably coincidental, but as you can see, look at all these old touches back here on the chart. Look at all those old touches, right, where it was acting as a support. It's likely to act as a resistance. Again, this is the bond market, the bond prices. So if this were another chart, I would be anticipating, a rejection over here and for a short. So this thing is still, bond prices look like they're poised to go lower. We just have a temporary break here. We have just a retracement here, right? So if these prices continue lower, they're going the wrong way. And this is going to put pressure on the stock market. And the stock market is while it looks like it's poised to go higher, it's still in a generally vulnerable position because we could get a failed high. It tries to break out and then it reverses, failed breakout. We can get that. And I'm talking like over the first quarter, right? Not like right away. So this is the bonds on the weekly time frame. Look at the previous week, right? We got that bullish pin bar in the previous week, interestingly enough. And this week is really nothing to talk about right here. So when we zoom out a bit and we look at this bigger picture, you can argue both sides of this. It's like, what is this? The broader view here, it's a consolidation. There's really no trend here. I mean, I think you guys would agree with that, right? This could be a higher low. It's just not proven itself yet. This could be a higher low. We haven't broken any of these lows over here, right? You have this support over here. So what is this thing doing? Not a whole lot. So we can't really make a judgment on such a small little movement here, right? So this thing needs to either break that high, which is what? 114.075. We need to clear this area with conviction, right? If bond prices can do that, that's going the right way. That means yields are coming off. That's what everyone wants to see, right? That's what your friend Trump wants to see. But if bonds keep going this way and we start breaking supports, like these are minor. If we start pushing major, like these lows over here, that's probably like bank failure territory. Or at least if it starts accelerating after breaking those lows, you're probably looking at bank failure territory, where a bank just decides to fail overnight out of nowhere, that type of situation, right? So we're nowhere near any of those situations. What do the fundamentals point to? Well, it looks like what? If the 10-year note, let's look at the yield, US 10Y. US 10Y is the yield. This yield needs to be going lower. It's just really not doing anything right now. But I saw an article because I had to produce videos. And by the way, I haven't produced videos in a couple of days for the same reason I couldn't produce my article, because I've been on my way here. If this thing can't, I was going to say, I'm sorry, hold on, I'm just losing my train of thought. Article. I saw an article about the EU, and they have like $8 trillion worth of bonds or whatever. They're long, something like that. This is Deutsche Bank. It was like a Deutsche Bank report or something. They're stuck, right? So if they unload those bonds, right, these yields are going to go higher. And people are going to demand higher yields, right, to take the risk, especially if it looks like the dollar is just going to zero, which everyone seems to want, right? Dollar going to zero. So I don't know. Keep an eye on this, because if trouble is going to start, it's going to start here, right? This is going to tell you the future. If this market stays tame like this, then we're probably going to see a lot of the same what we're seeing. Stocks continuing to grind higher, right? Gold, silver, all those things. There's going to be a lot of strength there as well. And by the way, if you know anything about the Pring-Turner business cycle, the general theory or the general configuration of that is, it goes bonds, stocks, and then it goes to the futures, right? Like the things like gold, silver, and all that stuff, right? Oil. When the cycle is basically nearing its completion, you see things like gold and oil and silver rally hard. That's what we're seeing right now. You guys agree with that? You guys familiar with that? So what we're seeing in gold and silver and stuff, that's a sign. I'm not saying we're going to turn tomorrow, we're going to turn to garbage tomorrow, but it's not a good sign, right? So when those things peak, once they peak, that's it. Party's over, right? And that's when we're going to see probably a broader pullback across the board. But I suspect something like that can take like a year to play out, in my opinion, because again, we have an administration that's going to fight that as hard as possible. I mean, they put rates to zero. They're just going to prolong that process, right? And then we know that's what their agenda is. So money flows into Mag 7. This is a top-heavy rally, right? So it's just a couple of stocks, and it's nonsense. I mean, if you look at the NASDAQ, if you look at the intraday on NASDAQ, right? I was looking at it before. It just had its move at the open, and that was it. If you weren't involved in that, there was nothing for you to do. It was a waste of time the whole day. It's like, what is that, man? Right? It's like it has its move in the first 30 minutes, and then the party's over. So anyway, so keep an eye on this bond market because this is the key to the whole thing. I thought their agenda... Yeah, booty cheeks. I can see why you got banned. I can see why YouTube doesn't like you. All right. All right, so let's move on. So you guys understand the bond market, right? Makes sense? Now, Alex from Romania, he mentioned the dollar index. Let's take a quick look. Right? I mean, dollar index is usually inverse to the bonds. Or just like, so let's see what's happening here with the dollar. Alex mentioned something about the dollar looking bad. Look at this. Certainly doesn't. Look at this. Look at this. So we have here, let me highlight a couple of things. Right? Look at this. You guys see this? This is a weekly chart, by the way. Weekly chart on the dollar index. This does not look good. What do you guys think of that? I got banned because... yeah, telling you, booty cheeks. Do you ride a motorcycle by any chance? I'm just curious. I think Booty Cheeks is this guy. He's got like long beard, tattoos. Probably rides a motorcycle. At least a pickup truck. At least, come on. It's either a motorcycle or a pickup truck or a pickup truck with a motorcycle in the back. Come on, man. I know you, man. It's got, especially with that sense of humor, definitely. It's got to be pickup truck, man. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I like pickup trucks. I don't drive one because I'm not a pickup. I'm too girly for a pickup truck. But straight razors. What's a straight razor? What is that? Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, so I pegged you wrong. Okay, all right. I thought maybe one of those motorcycle guys. One of those Florida motorcycle guys. But okay, I was wrong. All right, no problem. Those are practical cars. Yeah, the Honda Fit, that thing is, I'm not a fan of that thing either. But anyway, no, someone tried to sell me one once. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. How do you pick up girls in a Honda Fit, man? That was my thought. No, I'm not driving up. Hey, check me out, my Honda Fit. Like if you're like an older guy, it doesn't matter. But I'm still trying to beat girls. You know what I mean? I'm just trying. Got to try. So, anyway, that's another conversation. So look at this dollar index. This thing looks horrible, right? So we saw those bond yields are rising, right? Right? Now, here's the funny thing. When bond yields rise, the dollar should also be strengthening. What is going on here? Right? Usually higher interest rates, it lowers the supply, the money supply, essentially, because the cost of money is higher. So usually it raises the value of the currency. But relative to the basket of currencies here, this thing still sucks. Look at this. This is going the wrong way. So I don't know. We have some conflict here. Weaker dollar, obviously, is inflationary. So this looks like it's poised to break the support. I mean, this is where you have to combine the fundamentals and the technicals. The technicals tell you one thing. I see these people, and I get messages from people sometimes, and they're so focused on the chart, and they think the chart is everything. But the chart is not everything. The chart is a reflection of the fundamentals. And when it comes to economic fundamentals, like the dollar, the bonds, gold, like you got to pay attention to that. You got to put those puzzle pieces together, because that's important, because it's going to tell you broader things, right? Where you can then shape your expectations for your smaller time frame ideas, like whether it's swing trades, whether you're looking for altcoin season, whatever, right? That you start with the bigger picture, you put those fundamental puzzle pieces together, and then it gives you a better sense of, okay, this is what should happen, or this is what is likely to happen. And then the market has to prove it or it doesn't, right? Like the stuff that Kai talks about all the time in here. He always talks about these fundamental puzzle pieces, and you really have to be aware of them. The chart is a reflection of that. So understand that. Don't make that mistake where you think the chart tells the future, because the chart doesn't. The chart gives us an idea of what's occurred. We can see levels and we can identify risk. We can identify opportunities from the chart, but not the future, right? And like I argue all the time, you want to know the future, you got to pay attention to things like the interest rates. You have to pay attention to law and regulations, because that's how the future is shaped, right? And that's what changes like the probabilities and expectations of things. And then you have to put the charts, you have to look at the charts from that lens, right? To kind of get a sense of probabilities and put your idea together, whatever that is. Okay, whether it's a coin, whether it's a stock, whatever it is. So, but each asset class, of course, is going to have its own fundamental catalysts. You want to be aware of them, right? And you got to also consider those fundamental variables as well. Like if you have a stock like MP, for example, that's going to be affected by certain things, compared to something like Google that's going to be affected by other things, right? Each stock has its own thing, its own set of variables. So anyway, this dollar index looks horrible, and it looks like it's going to break lower. So let's just zoom out a bit. I mean, where can this thing go? So if dollar index breaks, what is that, 96.3, 96.30 basically, you're looking at another support at this level here. What is this? Look at this double bottom over here. That's all the way back in 21. Look at that. What is that? 89.53. That dates all the way back to all the chaos in 21. And we're like halfway there. Look at that. Right? So, and the fundamentals make sense with that scenario, because, we're going to have a new Fed chairman. We're going to get a guy who's probably going to just be more likely to cut rates aggressively. Obviously, not Hassett lost favor, so it doesn't look like we're going to get Hassett. But they're going to want someone in there that's going to be a little more submissive, a little more agreeable. Okay, it sounds like I'm describing like all right, never mind. I'm going to get in trouble. So you guys understand, like, they get a guy that's going to be more a yes man. We're going to lower rates. That's only going to weaken the dollar. We could see a much lower dollar, and that means inflation. Okay, unless the bonds, there's a conflict here with the bonds. We have to see how that plays out. Because if the bonds go nuts, meaning the bond yield goes nuts and goes up the wrong way, the dollar, it's going to certainly mute how harsh this dollar goes lower. But this is certainly a conflict, and it's confusing. Okay. Yeah, a straight razor is what they use to, okay. Yeah, booty cheeks. Sometimes your jokes go over my head. Like I'm a little slow sometimes in those jokes. But okay, cool. Yeah, I could probably use one of those. So anyway, all right. So that's the dollar index. Let's move along. So let's take a look at gold. Man, gold what, reached 5,000 today? Dude, that's just nonsense, man. Look at this. This is nonsense mode. Look at this. This looks. Remember the altcoins from a few years ago? Remember what those looked like? Does this look familiar? This is the weekly. This is the weekly gold. Today's high is it's over. It went over 510. The low is 5,003. Right now it's at 5,049. Is that right? 5,049 right now. Come on, man. This is nuts. What do you do with this? Do you buy gold now? I mean, it's extremely risky, right? Because I mean, this. I don't know if this is the top. This thing is just going vertical. When gold hits 40,000, great. Oh, you're married. That's good. Someone married you. All right, that's good to know. I thought you were a single guy on a motorcycle with a pickup truck. But you're a married guy. Great, man. Most unsettling chart I've seen in a while, gold chart. Oh yeah? That goes back to the 1800s? I mean, why is it unsettling, Kai? I mean, think about that, though. Back then, there was no Federal Reserve. Back then, when money dried up, there was no borrowing money. That's why things got so harsh, because there was no money. Today, we solved that problem with the Federal Reserve. They flood the system with money. That's why we don't see people on bread lines and all that other stuff. Plus, we have food stamps. So, how do I see that, Kai? How do I go that far back? What, I go to a monthly chart? Pull up gold. Okay. Let's see. So is there a symbol for that? Is it, what do I just type in gold? Is there a symbol for that? Let's see. The TV chart. This one, TVC. This goes, oh my God. Wow. Look at this chart. Look at that. Oh man. I mean, it looks just like Bitcoin, doesn't it? It looks, I mean, but Bitcoin doesn't have this move. Oh my God. This is nuts. I know it consolidated around 2000. Once it broke that 2000, clearly this is vertical. This is a monthly chart. Like, what do you do with this? It's like this makes me feel stupid. Like, I look at this, I just feel like a moron just looking at this, because it's like, how do you not buy? How do you not buy gold? I mean, and anyone that shorts this, okay, so maybe I'm half stupid, because anyone that shorts this, that's full stupid, man. You don't short this thing. I've been warning people. Wow, yeah, I've been warning people, don't short gold. Well, I mean, the parabolic is really now. I mean, because look, man, for years, for decades, gold really was a quiet market for decades. It's only now, only since 2020, really, that it's going berserk. But this is a warning sign. It's definitely a warning sign, because this is unusual, and I think it's a warning sign. I mean, I'm afraid to even look at silver. I heard it went to like 109 or something. XAG USD. Let's take a look. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. For decades, silver was a nothing market. Look at this. Right. That was a major turning point. Right, Kai? Major turn. I mean, look at this. Look at this. You just feel stupid looking at it, because it's like, how could I have not bought something? Or it really bothers me. I can't look at it. Look at this. This is a daily. I mean, so at this point, if you buy something now, you can't hold on to this, in my opinion. You have, if you make some money, because the top could be at least a temporary top, could be right around the corner. I mean, imagine a guy that top ticked this thing at, what's the high on silver? 117.75, right? Man. And we're at 108 right now. Imagine top ticking that. Like, but it's strong. Yeah, but you just bought the top, right? This thing can easily pull back into the 90s, easily. And that's a normal, the trend is not even changing. It's just a pullback, right? That's why you got to be careful with these things. You can't get sucked in. You got to wait. You got to wait for these opportunities. And gold and silver, they offer these opportunities every once in a while. Not often, but every once in a while, when you see some type of pullback in these things, you should take interest in it, right? You could, whether you're buying the ETF, if you're buying physical gold or silver, which is a pain, it's a pain, but there are ways to get involved. The top could be right. That's right, booty cheeks. That's right. He says here, you don't know where the top is. It could be now. It could be another 500 points higher. Right. And, it's usually when you can't take it anymore and you're like, I can't take it anymore. And you buy it, it's a top. So that's why it's best to, like, when these things are running like this, you want to gamble with it. That's up to you. But if you want to be more conservative with it, it's best to wait for support and use these charts to identify those support levels, which then can be considered opportunities, right? Like right now, when it's like this, I mean, you could look at these consolidations. What is this here? Like mid 70s. It'd be hard to believe that it can pull back that far after such a move. Then you have what, the not low 90s. You could use that as reference, right? Or you could just draw proportions on it, right? Do this from here to here. And I mean, look, the 50% is $82.76. That's a good place. That's a good gauge. 91, low 90s. So the consolidations basically gave us the same levels anyway. But you could do something like this and look at those proportions, and that gives you an idea. Those would be higher probability potential turning points to go back long. So if you were going to buy one of these things, you're better off doing it at one of those prices, waiting for some type of confirmation and trying to go along with that if you're going to do it, rather than taking all the risk up here and letting someone out and letting them get rich while you're taking all the risk, right? It makes sense? Okay, so that's gold and silver. Let's move on. And guys, if there's something you want to see, like a stock or something or whatever, just feel free to put it in the chat. Just make sure you put long or short, like the perspective, so I can look at it the right way. Let's take a look at oil, right? CL1. And here's oil. Now, oil has been acting. Now, we talked about this over the previous couple of weeks, right? I originally thought that oil should find supply because, Venezuela, and then everyone's like, no, it's too expensive. They're not going to pull that oil out. It's too expensive. They're not going to flood the market with that oil. OPEC is also going to respond to that. They're going to lower production, all that other stuff. So oil, is rising, right, rather than selling off. But look at this level, right? Oil is not exactly going nuts either to the long side. Look at this. There's some bullish structure. We have a higher low over here. See the higher low? So we can call that this entire structure right here, this entire thing right here, we can call that a change of character of sorts because it's higher lows and higher highs compared to what it's been doing for quite some time, lower highs and lower lows. So we can call this a change of character, right? Choch. But or a change of structure. Something has changed there. Now we're at a resistance, so I would not be interested in buying oil here. If you're interested in shorting oil, it's aggressive, but this is the place you'd do it. This is the place where you'd be looking for confirmations, measuring your risk, taking a chance. I mean, look, it's a double top. I mean, you got this beautiful pin bar back here, and it's reacting again off the same area. Let's see, do we have any order blocks? Let's see. I'm going to remove this over here. Let's see. Order blocks. This would be an order block right here. They call them order blocks because it's in the trend, it's the green candle before the series of red candles, right? So you got these two red candles. So that green candle before those red candles, that's your order block, right? That's your bearish one. Like this red one back here, that's your bullish one. This red one here at the bottom, because that's the red candle before the series of green candles. So that would be a support if price were to pull back into there. Also, let's see, do we have one in this little series over here? No, this is a mess over here. I don't know how to interpret that. So you could say you're inside of a bearish order block and it's trying to react. Okay, and this candle, if this candle closes red today, I guess it's closed now, or I don't know what time oil closes. But you'd be looking at the low of that candle, $60.32, right? This thing breaks that daily low. If it breaks that low tomorrow, you're looking at a potential bear signal there, at least until a test of this low. Fundamentally, what would drive that? I don't know. They need to come up with more oil, right? What's going to drive that? Now, oil is strange because with a weakening dollar, we saw that dollar index chart looked horrible. Oil should be going higher, right? Gold is doing it. Silver's doing it. What's the problem with oil? So it's just very strange. You can't go by those conventional points of view because oil is certainly not matching up. It's not behaving the way you would think it should with, weak dollar should equal strong oil. That's not strong oil. Oil has rallied recently, but oil should be breaking higher, not this. Make sense? So remember, oil's energy, and energy is what, 30% of the S&P, right? 30% component of the S&P. So lower oil would be something that the administration wants because then they could use that to argue to cut rates. Like, well, oil is cheap and so there's no inflation. So definitely we have to cut rates, right? That's the argument they'd love to make. They're trying to make that argument. So, there may be some agenda to weaken oil as well. Chevron, Exxon call option. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Well, oil recently, just today is pretty much, today is the red candle. So I'm saying, oil is generally not weak because we have this change of structure, right? It's just if you're going to be aggressive, and you want to short oil itself, this would be the time to consider it now, right? But I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm just saying if you're going to do it, this would be the best place to give it a try, right? This structure may continue, and we may break out higher during the week, right? We start pushing this consolidation area here. We start pushing that, then we're looking at the next set. We're looking at trying to work its way back up to 65, which would be again strength in this thing. And with dollar weak as it is, that should help oil. Okay, so I would think so. The dollar is working against you here, right? Bond market. Yields. If those yields could start going lower, which is what they should be doing, with the weakening dollar, then those are just bullish arguments for oil. So just keep in mind, you're fighting those fundamental forces when you short oil. If you're going to short it as a day trade, okay. If you're going to do a very brief swing trade, okay, it's aggressive. But I don't know. I personally wouldn't short oil. Okay. But some people, they don't mind taking those aggressive trades. All right, so that's oil. All right, so you guys have anything you'd like me to take a look at here? Let's see. Kai says is a bit too short it as it could spike. Right. So you have situations like that, Kai. Oh, Benjamin had that question. Benjamin, I got to go back to your question. Peter, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. 80s. Do you think a move toward 105 is still in play? And if we get a daily close, okay, good question. Benjamin had a similar question. All right, so now, Peter. So I can't look at the Bitcoin chart itself because of conflict with my other channel, but I can look at the ETFs. So what I like to look at is the grayscale one, right? GBTC, or actually I think it's just BTC, right? Grayscale has like this one called BTC. Is that the one? I don't see it here. What if I type it in? No, that's not it. GBTC. It's the grayscale one. This is the grace, but this. All right, I'll use this one. But I believe grayscale has one called BTC, and that one is a good one to use as a proxy because the chart looks just like it. I don't see that. I don't see that. Maybe I'm putting. Oh, here it is. See the ETF. Yeah. Oh, it looks exactly like it. Okay, so BTC and GBTC, they look exactly the same. Okay, so I like this chart as a proxy. I can look at proxies. I can look at the ETFs, and then I can just translate the numbers, right? So let's talk about that because Benjamin also had a similar question. Let me just go back to Benjamin's question. Let me go back. Where is his question over here? Oh, just give me a second. Where is he? There he is. Oh, Coinbase. Oh, yeah, Benjamin. I'm still buying Coinbase. In fact, I had an order sitting at 220. I got filled, so I have 3 shares now. But I want to buy Coin. So I'm still buying Coinbase. That we're seeing that weakness on Coinbase, obviously, because Bitcoin turns to crap. If Bitcoin gets hammered, Coinbase is going to also get hammered. That's why I'm starting so small. Right. I'll talk more about that in a moment. Yeah, we'll go over Coinbase. Okay, let me go back. Benjamin, you had a, where is, if you listen to me and locked in, you have the same house as me. Well, I'm just going back here. What was that? I'm not, what is that a quote from, Gas? It sounds funny. We tested support again at some point. Okay, right. Okay. So Benjamin's asking about Bitcoin support. Okay, so Peter, all right. So let's talk about this now, and then we're going to talk about Coinbase as well, right? And strategy. Guys, strategy. Michael Saylor. I love doing Michael Saylor impressions. So look at this chart. We have the 95, that 95 touch that we had recently, and we failed. I have. Oh, really? Interesting, Kai. Kai, where do you buy those? Where do you get those? Are you doing like ETFs, or are you actually doing options on like Bitcoin or something? Because I haven't been a big fan of the like the Bitcoin options. Not a big fan. But maybe you could tell us more about that. So 95K failed, right? That's not good. Let's look at some levels here. So we have this resistance area, right? This is basically, it was old support kind of sort of, right? That 95K, 100K, and we rejected it. And we're now going back to support, right? Now, where are we at right now? We're around 87,000, okay? 88K is a key level. I've talked about that number for quite some time because it's the wave 1, wave 4 overlap. Uh-oh, the bear is back. Can you see him? Look at the bear. Where is it? The bear. Oh, you're going the other way now? All right. Okay, that thing is giant. You could put a saddle on that thing and ride that thing if you were smaller, if you were like a midget or something. All right, so Booty Cheek, that's Booty Cheek's department. So, but there are also legit crypto companies like I see, Kai. So like MSTR, for example, that's one way you would short Bitcoin as a proxy. You'd buy puts, like as a proxy. The dog's name is Montague. Montague is a dog's name. Okay, so I get it. That's clever. That's great. That's great, Kai. Using it as a proxy, right? That's what I'm doing with Coinbase. I'm trying to go long Bitcoin using a proxy, right? So, and that's what you do with MicroStrategy as well. It's basically just you could buy Bitcoin without having to buy Bitcoin. Now, so or sell it. Yeah, it's not my dog. That's not my dog. That's a gigantic dog. I'm more of a little dog kind of guy. I'm more into like little dogs, like Chihuahuas, like that kind of. I know it's kind of gay, but I don't have any dogs. All right. Anyway, so but dogs are great for streams, aren't they? People love dogs. There he is again. People love dogs. So I should get one just for the stream. Yeah. Hey, Tom, they like your name. They like Montague's name. They're a big fan. Montague he's got fans. It's Tom's dog. Okay. Anyway, all right. So back to Bitcoin here. So 95K. What's that? 89. Tom's a trader too. So he's saying 89's resistance. 89.90. Okay, right. I agree with that. Well, we're right now we're 87. That would be more of a minor. I mean, because I'm saying 95K is the major one right now. So the more minor one would be like the 90K area. I agree with that, definitely. And so here's the thing. The structure doesn't look good. This, theoretically, we have a lower high. In theory, we should be pushing the low. Okay? Kai, I find it very concerning that IWM made all-time highs. I suspect it has its own lunch eaten by, well, right. That makes sense, Kai. And a cat would be good for me? Come on, man. No, Peter. Like, I get along with all animals, but I'm not a cat guy. Like, no cats. Like, I'd rather, if I had a choice, I would do a dog, not a cat. A cat? Come on, man. What kind of guy do I look like to you? Like, cat. Again, I have nothing to get against cats. I like cats, but I wouldn't be a cat guy. I like little dogs. But what I do like about cats is, they're more on their own. They don't need so much attention. All right, back to Bitcoin, man. We got to get this thing done here. So, as far as look, so the market is saying weak, and I think based on this structure that we see here, the break to 80K scenario is has a higher probability. A lion. Okay, now we're getting exotic. So now I can have the exotic car, the exotic girl, and a lion. Now, all right, that makes sense. And in this house, we got to get a lion, or maybe like a tiger or something. Tom, we got to get a lion. Right there. Oh yeah, look, I got a lion. Check this out. Right here, Kai. I got a lion. See that? It's a decoration here. All right. Yeah, there we go. How cool is that? Oh, shit, I broke the lion. No, it's not broken. All right. Okay, no, the lion is okay. It's okay. All right, anyway. Yeah, I have fish and chickens. Fish are good for... Oh, yeah, fish. Oh, nice, fish. Okay. Yeah, fish are nice. All we do is throw some food in the water there. All right, cool. So anyway, Bitcoin doesn't look good, man. I mean, so Kai, your options, being short, I think it's certainly, I think probability favors that right now. I mean, look at this. So the thing is, though, that we don't have the confirmation yet. So we need to break that support. And that support, in my opinion, I mean, because again, this isn't the actual Bitcoin chart. This is the ETF. In my opinion, we have to clear the 80K. Now, I keep talking about this 87, the 88 level. That 88 level is the wave 1, wave 4 overlap, okay? And that dates back to back here. Now, let me go to the weekly chart, all right? Because that's really where you can see it. So on the weekly time frame, okay, this entire structure, basically the idea of it was it's wave 5 of a broader 5. You can't see that because we don't have enough data on this chart. So I can't go all the way back to the smaller waves. But basically, I was saying that this broader structure is 5 of 5. And this pullback could, as long as this pullback stays above wave 1, which this would be wave 1 of 5 back here, right? As long as it stays above there, then we don't have the overlap, and then we're expecting the fifth of the fifth wave, right? And this is Benjamin and Peter's question, basically, right? That's the idea. Now, we keep messing around 88K, 87K, but so far we don't spend a lot of time below them, below that area. So in my opinion, we need to break 80K and stay below it. Like, not break 80K for a few hours and then the next day we're back up at 85. Like, that doesn't count. We need to break it and stay below it, right? And we need to see progress. We need to see a push to 73K, right? If we see that, then the wave 4 scenario is over, right? And that's, Peter, where you can the wave 5 back to 130, that becomes a low probability, right? That would be the confirmation, Peter. So right now, it's too early to tell. The market needs to prove itself in that way, right? And if it does it like that, then I would say we're not in the wave 5, right? The wave 5 becomes a low possibility, and we're most likely in the broad wave 2. If we see that scenario, that's a confirmation of the broad wave 2. Broad wave 2 can see 60K, or it can be extreme, right? So because wave 2s can correct, they can theoretically correct 100% of wave 1. 100% here would be Bitcoin going back to 1,000. So I don't think that that's practical, but a 50% retracement off the high puts us at around, 75, 70 something K, something like that, right? Or in the high 60s, it's something like that. It's not exactly, but it's something like that, right? So that's where I would say, okay, we're in wave 2. And if we're in wave 2, then it's going to be ugly for a while. Now, the problem with the wave 2 scenario is it doesn't really make sense as far as the fundamentals go, right? Like if we're going to have inflation and we're going to have lowering rates and all that stuff, then this thing should be stabilizing. But I think that what throws the wrench in that whole argument is that the 10-year note, right? That's where it all goes wrong. What is that noise? Oh, he's trying to come in. Oh, you need to come in? Hold on a second, guys. Hold on. Are you having trouble coming in? Oh, I thought you were. Okay, sorry, guys. All right, the microphone followed me there, so you guys heard everything. So anyway, but so you guys following me on that? So that's very important, right? This 80K, 88K area is a key area, and this thing has to decide. Okay, Bitcoin has to decide. We don't decide. We don't know. The market has to prove. So if we see that proof, then I would say, all right, that's the wave 2, and then I wouldn't be bullish after that. So again, the bond market throws the wrench in this thing because we need to see the yields go lower. If we get those lower yields, then we're likely to see the wave 5. This thing should stabilize, and we should see the wave 5. All right, so Benjamin and Peter, I hope that answers your question, right? But right now, theoretically, based on this structure, where the probability favors the lower scenario, and the bonds, the 10-year note agrees with that, right? So we need the 10-year note to change the other way, and I don't know how Trump's going to do it. I mean, they're going to buy the bonds themselves. The Treasury, the U.S. Treasury can buy the bonds themselves. Just print money and buy bonds with it. They're going to have to do a lot of printing. So, I don't know how else they're going to have to do like massive quantitative easing. I don't know how else they're going to do it. Right? I don't know. I'm not an economist. So, Kai, let's see. They're coming and chickens. I never had a chicken. As I only, I don't usually, no chickens around here. Fish and chickens. Oh, I missed that, Peter. Yeah, fish and chickens. I missed that. Chickens. What are you, like on a farm somewhere? Because like here, like in where I'm at, I'm not there right now, but in Jersey, we're definitely not allowed to have chickens. Like they're not allowed. So you must be like in a farm somewhere. So anyway, classic bear flag and can be part of a. So it's more likely. Well, right now, Peter, the structure is pointing lower. Unless so it's going to have to, something needs to change here. It's pointing that way. But here's the thing, Peter, we don't have confirmation. That's the thing. So it might not. We can't forecast it because we need confirmation. If we clear 80K and we go below 80K and we stay below it, then I'd say, okay, this thing is in bear mode and momentum is likely to continue. And then 73K is our next, that would be our next objective. Okay. But if we don't push 80K, then I can't make that argument. Right. So the market tells us, it's evidence-based. The market tells us this thing can produce a higher low. This thing can produce a failed low here. It could double bottom at 80K. Like it may go there, get everyone short, and then reverse in everyone's face because some sort of unexpected change comes along. Some sort of government announcement or whatever. We buy Greenland and I don't know. and they put printing presses there, and we print money from Greenland. I'm just making stuff up, but you know what I'm saying? Like something unexpected, and then suddenly Bitcoin likes it, right? And it double bottoms. So, but I just don't know what that catalyst could be. What would turn Bitcoin around at that point? But we could see something like that. And if it does something like that, we get the double bottom and it reverses back up, then we can still be in the wave 5. So it's tricky. That's why you can't really marry a conclusion. You can't really marry an idea. You have to say, all right, let the market prove itself. And right now, the structure looks bearish, but it hasn't proven itself. So if you're taking short positions, they're still a little aggressive right now, which, hey, sometimes that's how you make money. You have to be aggressive, right? But if you're wrong, you have to get out, because if this thing turns, it's going to be harsh. It's going to be bullish, because a lot of people are shorting this thing, and if it turns, it could do one of those to you, right? And start pushing 100K when it completely doesn't look like that right now. So don't be fooled by just a look of a chart, because again, there may be something going on in the background that just comes out of nowhere and completely fakes everyone out. But the market has to prove it. That's the main thing. And it hasn't proven it yet. Does that make sense to you? So don't jump to the conclusion. The structure favors bear, but we don't have confirmation. Okay? When the confirmation comes, then you can argue. 5 chickens. And I used their poop for my tomatoes. Oh, man. Okay, nice, Peter. What do you like? You must be on a farm. Oh, nice. Great. All right. Chicken poop. Okay. Nice. Booty Cheeks, what do you think? That's up Booty Cheeks alley. He likes chicken poop. I have been 5 chickens. Wow, so I guess you eat the eggs? So you don't have to worry about going to the supermarket and eggs being $20 a dozen? Wow. Okay. Nice. Yeah. Peter's a farmer. You're a farmer, Peter? That's nice. Guano. Yeah, I've heard of that. Isn't that like lizard poop or something? Like those lizards? Anyway, chameleon. What do they call those things? Not chameleons. They're I can't think of what they're called right now. Anyway, all right. So you guys clear on this Bitcoin situation? You guys understand? So that's why I see a lot of this analysis, and they make these absolute conclusions. Oh, Bitcoin's going to do this. You can't say that, and you can't make that judgment from a chart. All we can do is come up with some levels and then come up with some scenarios, and then Bitcoin must choose from there. Okay, does that make sense? And then when Bitcoin makes its choice, then we can align our expectations with that choice. If we clear 80K, we can adjust our expectations to bearish, and we can put our objective at 73K. If Bitcoin can't clear 80K and it finds support and reverses, then we're looking at 90K again, and our expectations go there. And then we're adjusting for that. We're looking for signals that align with that, and we're betting that probabilities are going to align with that. You see how that works? So the market sets a tone. You shape your expectations, and then you follow that map until the market changes its tone again. Just like up at 126K, I was telling people high risk, high risk. This area is lower risk for longs where we are right now. It's lower risk, but we're not getting the supportive structure that we need. And we're not getting the fundamental support that we need either. Where is it? What's going on here? I mean, I see all these reports coming out, Michael Saylor buying $10 trillion billion of Bitcoin, all these other investors in MicroStrategy. I mean, there's a lot of money pouring into this thing, a lot of investment. So that's a little unusual too. I'm neither sure, right. It is like poker. I don't know what card comes next. Right, exactly. You can't know what card comes next. You could do some math to figure out, okay, there's a greater probability that this card comes out next, or you do your outs, right? And you figure, okay, I need one of these cards. I need 5 cards, and I win. One of these 5 cards come out, I win, right? Or one of these 10 cards come out, I win. That kind of thing. But there's no way to know what card's coming out next. Unless there was this Asian woman that figured out how to, she could read the pattern on the back of the card. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. And based on that pattern, because it was a printing flaw on the back of the card, and based on that, they could identify what card was coming out next. And she paired up with this guy, this poker champion, and they started doing these tournaments, and they were robbing casinos. And then eventually they got caught and they got sued, and the casino wanted their money back. I forget the guy's name. But anyway, it was a very famous thing. This was like 15 years ago or 10 years ago. But I forget her name. But she figured out this thing with the back of the card and the pattern, the printing pattern. There was a flaw in the pattern. And because of that, you can identify what card the next card was. But you had that, the card had to be in sight. So they would request, they had to have a Chinese dealer so that she could speak to the dealer in Chinese and I guess in Mandarin. And they said they wanted the cards positioned a certain way because of whatever. It was part of their superstition or something, right? And then she could see the cards and they could identify it. So that's how you could tell what card's coming out next. Anyway, but unless you're using that technique, and now the casinos are wise to it, so they don't have those printing flaws anymore. But anyway, all right, that's what happens when you bring up poker, Kai. I go off on a tangent. All right, so you guys clear on Bitcoin? So we don't know. The structure points lower, but we don't have confirmation. So it may go a little lower, Peter, and then turn around. But if it breaks, 73K becomes the objective. If it doesn't break, we're looking at 90K again. And I think we'll know soon in the next few weeks. This thing's going to have to make a decision. It can't sit here, it's not going to sit here for 10 years like this. It's got to do something, right? So in this situation, we can look at the key levels, right? That's going to represent 80K right there, right? This represents 95K up here. Those are your key levels, right? And the 90K area is around, that's a minor resistance. If we clear 90K, that opens up 95K as an objective. You guys see how that works? Yeah, do you know what I'm talking about, Kai? I mean, if you Google it, you can read all about that. And I forget the guy, she paired up with this guy who had the access to the casinos because they weren't going to take her seriously. They weren't going to let her play these games. So she partnered with this guy who had that type of access. I forget his name. And they were robbing casinos with this technique. They were like for millions of dollars. Oh yeah, you got to Google it. It's very interesting. It's on YouTube. There's videos about this on YouTube. And they explain the entire scam. She figured it out because what happened was she went to jail she borrowed money from a casino, and then she tried to skip town. And when you do that, they put you in jail. They caught her, they put her in jail. And while she was in jail, because she was a wealthy gambler, she had money to begin with. While she was in jail in Las Vegas, she had a deck of cards in the cell with her. So she had a lot of time to just be looking at this deck of cards. And after hours and hours and hours of looking, she realized this pattern while she was sitting in jail, waiting to get whatever, to go out from to bail her out or whatever. So it's a very interesting story. And she's still out there. She's still in business. She's still out there trying to scam someone. So I think they call her the Dragon Woman or something like that. You got to check it out. It's very interesting. All right, so that's Bitcoin. Now, guys, is there anything you want me to look at? How long have I been talking? Okay, yeah, I got to wrap this up, man. I've been over an hour. I got to wrap this up. Yeah, Google it, Kai. You'll see it. You'll find the videos on YouTube. Put poker scam. How would you say that? Because the card, the flawed card pattern, maybe you could put. There's a name. They have a name for the technique that she was using. It was like I forget the name of the technique, but it'll come up because there's videos. That's how I found it on YouTube. So yeah. Anyway, is there anything you guys want to see? Any stocks or anything real quick? Let's look at Coinbase. Let's do Coinbase real quick. Benjamin was asking about Coinbase. Because, yeah, I'm still trying to build a position in Coinbase. I was surprised to see that I got filled at 220. That order was sitting there for like a month. I put a limit order in, right, at 220. Now, and this is the lesson about this, because again, Coinbase was very tricky. It was following Bitcoin. Bitcoin went to 95K, right? And Coinbase was looking good there. I remember I bought a little, my first initial positions in here somewhere, 250, 240, that area, something like that. And if I was ridiculously aggressive or just unaware or whatever, I would have thought, oh, high or low, this thing's going to rally, and I get a lower high instead. And of course, you're not going to get out because you're trying to hold on as an investment, and then it breaks the support, and now look where we are. And I kept telling people, I don't want to get caught being minus 40 grand in a position, and that's exactly what would be happening right now. Right? I'd be in this really bad position, but I only have 3 shares. Okay, at an average price of, it's going to be like 230 something, right? Because my third share I bought it like my limit order was at 220. We're at 213 right now. So if Bitcoin collapses, this thing is going to go lower, and that's why I went in small, because just in case this scenario came about, I'm not worried about it. And in fact, I'd like to buy some more shares, but the question is where. Bitcoin's looking weak right now. In this type of situation, I would prefer that Bitcoin needs to change its structure and start looking strong. So I would want 90K to be cleared. I'd want to see a rally toward 95K before putting on more shares. If I'm going to buy on the pullback as this thing continues lower, then I'm going to want some really good prices, right? So maybe I'll put a limit order, because I don't want to just have 3 shares. I'm trying to accumulate, 10, 20, maybe 30 shares. I'm just doing it one at a time, right? And when it's pulling back like this is the opportune time to do it. So maybe I put a limit order at 200. I don't know. And then maybe another one at like 190. And then what's the low over here? 156. So, you could put a limit order every 10 points, 190, 180, whatever, right? And just collect 10 shares at a time. And then eventually over time you accumulate. And if Bitcoin really turns to garbage and I have to hold on to it, no problem, right? Because what's Coinbase going to do? Go to 0? It can go to 100. That can happen, but that would be extreme. So we have to see. Now, if Bitcoin completely turns to garbage too, I also have the option of doing nothing and just letting it, just stand aside and then wait for stabilization. And I only have a few shares. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to sweat it out. That's why I work small. Okay? That's why. Because you just don't know. I had no idea that this was going to sell off like this, especially when we were doing this. I was like, oh man, I should have bought more, blah, 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 right? I was saying that to myself. Oh man, good thing I stuck to my simple little plan of just accumulating a little at a time. Now I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to sweat this out. In fact, I could buy more. All right, you guys follow me? Coin to 140. Yeah. I mean, it could do it. It could do it. And if it does it, I'm not worried. I just won't. If this thing is selling off aggressively, like if I buy one and then it's like 20 points lower, I'm not going to just keep aggressively buying. I'd buy a few more. I'd like to start buying on the way back up. That'd be a nice thing to do. At least I'm getting the confirmation because I have some shares, right? And then buying on the way back up would probably be a wiser thing to do, because now it's at least on your side. I don't want to aggressively accumulate while it's looking like this, but I would like to buy some. Right? Why buy some? Why not buy some on sale? Make sense? All right, you guys, I got to wrap this up. I've been talking way too long. I'm supposed to only be doing this for an hour. See, Tom, I told you I talk too much. So, all right, you guys, any questions? I mean, not worried no matter what happens. Right, well, that's the thing, Kai, but I can only do that because my size is small. If I had a couple of 100 shares on, I would not be happy right now. I'd be a little uncomfortable. If I had forget 1,000 shares, I don't even think I would do 1,000 shares of Coinbase. But I mean, if I had a couple of 100 on, yeah, I would be like, I'd be stressed. But I don't have to stress. So Okay, cool, cool. All right, guys. Yeah. So thanks, and I'll be back on my regular videos on the other channel. I should be making one tomorrow. Well, tomorrow, so you'll see it on Wednesday. If I'm working on it tomorrow, you'll probably see it on Wednesday. Yeah. Okay, and then we'll go from there. All right. So make sure you guys are in my Telegram channel. If you're not, you lazy people on Twitter, you see the QR code I have on the screen there. Scan that code. That'll take you to my Telegram. All right, and there's updates in there. It was a little slow today. I don't think there was anything in there today. All right, yeah, and thanks, guys. Thanks for the questions and everything. I appreciate you guys sticking around, and you know, and I'll see you at the next one. All right, so hey, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your evening, wherever you are in the world, and thanks so much for watching.